Heather, when it is currently the 28th of March 2015. Second video update for this Saturday. This is just going to be a quick one compared to our other video updates here for WesternPacificWeather.com because we have now seen Tropical Storm Maysak upgraded to a severe tropical storm. If you're not familiar actually with the Japan Meteorology Agency, they have several scales, or a little bit at least of a different scale as other agencies do. You go with tropical storms, severe tropical storms, then, well, strong typhoon up to very strong, and eventually a violent typhoon. So right now we have seen this upgrade to those winds well above 50 knots. Still have our storm system well off there towards the east, currently impacting Chuuk just towards the southeast of Guam. And at least at this time, the Guam National Weather Service has issued typhoon warnings in place for these areas because you do expect it to continue to intensify up to that typhoon status. And you can take a look at the satellite imagery. Even from my video update I put out earlier on today, there is a night and day difference as far as the organization of this storm. That spiral circulation clearly wrapping around this, and what we're starting to see is even the first signs of an eye really developing in this. Not sure if it's dry air entrainment coming in from the northern periphery, but overall we just have an abundance of convection. A lot of moisture for this to work with. It is sitting in sea surface temperatures well over 30 degrees. That is just bath water out here, and that is allowing this to intensify. Now, as I mentioned, Chuuk, that's his island just off here towards the west. You see these groups of atolls here. Those are the areas which, at this time, at least the Guam National Weather Service is going to be expecting these winds sustained over 65 knots, but it's going to be gusting at least that high or even higher than that. And these small islands definitely going to be taking the brunt of this storm system as we go ahead into Sunday morning. Really best hopes for everybody out there. I know this formed up pretty fast, and you're going to be seeing the winds come on shore fairly quickly. Those are the current conditions, actually, according to the Japan Meteorological Agency and JTWC. I'm sure by the time I get this update out, JTWC might have upgraded this even a little bit higher, possibly to a typhoon, at least into the early morning hours. They do expect it to rapidly intensify as well. Remember, all of these estimations as far as the winds is based on Dvorak, satellite analysis. We don't have to pleasure of having recon out here in the Western Pacific. So if you're watching from the Atlantic, you're curious how these intensities are made. It's all just by Dvorak or satellite analysis. If you're watching meteorologist Mike Adcock's video, he does a really good job of breaking that down. Take a look at the microwave imagery. You can even see where our center of circulation is here. Just that clear banding continuing to wrap around, and one more reason why this has been upgraded to that severe tropical storm. And no question, at least at this time, sometime on Sunday, we're going to see this be our third named typhoon of 2015. Actually, it's quite incredible. I'm still in the month of March here, and we're already going to be likely having 3 named typhoons. So here's a track from the Japan Meteorological Agency. Still keeping it well south of Guam. I still expect the winds to pick up for those of you in Guam out here as we go ahead into your Monday and Tuesday, but it should stay down here towards the south. The big deal is as we head over there towards Tuesday and eventually in the Wednesday as well, is those of you into Yap, because at least at this time you have seen those typhoon watches put in place. And the other big issue is that your official agency from the Guam National Weather Service, they reflect what the JTWC is saying. They expect a Category 4 equivalent of a typhoon, if this was in the Atlantic on the Saffir-Simpson scale, to impact the island of just over 10,000 people out here. And you're going to be taking the very severe brunt of this storm system. And as I mentioned, Typhoon Watch has been put in place here by the Guam National Weather Service. Typhoon warning still in place back there towards the east. So let's break down our storm system here and actually get a good idea using the Meteor app of where it's going and what's going to be occurring with this. So you have your basically this storm running along the southern periphery of the Westpac High out here, and that's off there towards the north. You can kind of see that subtropical ridge on your screen. Well, extending down here towards the south, this low is not going to want to go into that. I always talk about tropical systems as water flowing down a hill, and these high pressure areas are kind of the mountains, and then they really want to just flow into the valleys. So I don't expect this to recurve. Most numerical guidance throughout the day here on Saturday has stopped with the recurve recurvature scenario. I know the CMC and the NavGem were kind of leaning towards that type of output, but right now it doesn't look like that's going to be happening. This high pressure is going to be staying in place, and if we scroll ahead through the rest of Sunday and even heading out here towards Monday and the Tuesday, this storm stays south of Guam and just along the southern edge of that high pressure area. You're still going to be seeing some high winds out here. That's the big deal, though. That high and this low is creating a high pressure gradient. Gradient-induced winds very well is going to be causing some tropical storm strength wind gusts to southern portions of Guam. Very unlike what we did see with Bobby 2 weeks ago. And what I mean by that, I don't expect damaging winds out here, but it is going to be enough to knock some stuff around, and definitely dangerous if you do plan on heading out towards the beach, especially there on Guam. Saipan, you're going to be missing out on the worst of this, so at least good news there. But Tuesday, really that storm is going to drift south of you, and then let's zoom right in on Yap here. Very little question, at least at this time, based on that subtropical ridge farther towards the north, and where we have our low right now, that Yap is not going to see typhoon strength winds. I mean, the storm still definitely could waver north or south, and I think that that could change the forecast quite considerably, but I should say typhoon strength wind gust. Very likely going to be occurring here, especially given the intensification we're expecting with this storm system as it heads out. So if you are out on these islands, now is definitely the time to get ready, and if you're already in Chuuk and you're starting to feel the weather kick up there, unfortunately, it already is going to be setting here on Sunday. And I know the big question is what's going to be happening over here in the Philippines, guys. Well, at least for now, it does look like anybody basically from the eastern seaboards of Visayas extending up through northeastern Luzon really need to watch this system quite closely. I do think that we're going to be seeing the storm making landfall here somewhere in the Philippines. Now, where exactly, that's a big question still. You can see the CMC model still coming on shore, but look at the ECMWF really just taking this anywhere up and down the coastline. It can't make up its mind. Same thing with the NavGem, but it really has gotten rid of that recurvature solution, and even the GFS really just kind of pushing this on shore. In the extended range somewhere around Luzon, and you can see the JMA and JTWC tracks both reflect that. Just remember that cone of air I always talk about, and especially beyond 5 days, it's really just kind of throwing darts at a board, and especially with a big spread in the models. But the big thing is most of the models have come together at this point and are expecting that subtropical ridge to remain in place long enough where the Philippines will be seeing some sort of impact from the storm. Exactly where and how intense, those are the two questions we're going to be looking at right now. I mean, if you live out here in the tropics, you should just be ready for these storm systems, but if you are out there, you definitely want to keep a very close eye farther towards the east. And as we head through the next several days, we'll have more information on this. That's the good news, and that's something I've been saying for some time now, is that we have a lot of time to watch this storm system. Not the case for those of you in some of these smaller islands, but in the Philippines, yeah, it's not until late next week where we're going to see the storm make landfall. Plenty of time, and plenty of time for the forecast to change as well, but plenty of time to watch this and see exactly what's going to be unfolding as we continue to look ahead. So that's all for right now. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. I always appreciate your feedback and really do appreciate your support, everybody continuing to stop in at the website. Stay safe out there.